The first time I caught him lying, it was over something small. A late night at the office that didn't add up, a faint perfume on his shirt that wasn't mine. My stomach twisted, but I pushed the thought aside. Love makes you blind, and in my case, it made me stupid. But the day he looked at me, smirk curling on his lips, and said the words, "Take your belongings and get out," I realized he wasn't just careless. He was cruel. What he didn't know was that every single item in that house he took pride in, every chair, every lamp, every piece of silverware, was mine. Purchased with my money, chosen with my taste, placed by my hand. He wanted me gone. But in truth, without me, he would be standing in an empty shell of walls. The unraveling. We had been married for 7 years. In the beginning, he made me laugh so hard my cheeks hurt. He told me I was the smartest woman he had ever met, that my ambition inspired him. I believed him. I paid for the down payment on our house because his finances were in recovery. I decorated every room, piece by piece, while he chased career promotions that never seemed to materialize. I didn't mind, at first. I loved the role of building a home for us. But cracks began to show. He stopped noticing my efforts, stopped saying thank you. Every time he invited friends over, he bragged about our home, never once mentioning that I had made it possible. Then came the whispers. A text message that lit up his phone at midnight. A lipstick stain he brushed off as a coworker's hug. I told myself I was paranoid. But when your gut screams, it's rarely wrong. The final confirmation came in the form of an email. I had accidentally logged into our shared computer under his account and found a thread of messages with a woman named Carla. They weren't just friendly. They were intimate. Explicit. Plans of weekends away, secrets exchanged, promises whispered. My hands shook as I read. I felt the floor collapse beneath me, my chest tighten until I couldn't breathe. Rage and heartbreak flooded me at once. I had built a life with this man. I had trusted him with my heart, my future. And this was how he honored me. Confrontation. When I confronted him, I expected denial. Maybe tears, maybe excuses. What I didn't expect was arrogance. "Yes, I'm seeing her," he said casually, as though he were telling me he had picked up groceries. "You've been so busy with work, I needed more. More." As though I wasn't enough. As though my devotion, my sacrifices, were crumbs he brushed off the table. I screamed, I cried, but he only shrugged. Then came the words that froze me. "Take your belongings and leave. Carla's moving in." I stared at him. He was serious. He was throwing me out of the house I had bought, the home I had filled, the life I had built. That's when something inside me shifted. The grief dulled, replaced by a quiet, cold fire. The twist of ownership. What my husband didn't realize was that legally and practically, everything in that house was mine. I had purchased the furniture under my name. The deed to the house was mine alone. I had been the one with the credit, the one who signed the papers. He had never contributed more than half of the utility bills. So when he told me to take my belongings, I smiled for the first time in weeks. "All right," I said softly. "I'll take my belongings." He smirked, believing he had won. The quiet revenge. The next morning, while he was at work, I called a moving company. Not a small truck, but 3 large ones. Room by room, I instructed them. The velvet sofa I had chosen. Mine. The dining table from the antique shop. Mine. The bed, the mattress, the nightstands. Mine. I didn't stop at the furniture. The cutlery, the dishes, the artwork, the rugs, every single thing I had paid for was packed up carefully. Even the curtains came down, folded neatly into boxes. By the time the movers were done, the house was nothing but hollow rooms and echoing walls. The only things I left behind were his cheap wardrobe, his broken office chair, and the fading desk he had owned before we married. The fallout. When he came home, I was sitting on the bare floor of the living room, a glass of wine in hand. He froze at the doorway, his face draining of color. What the hell did you do?" he stammered. I took a slow sip, savoring the taste. "I took my belongings. Just like you told me to." His jaw worked, but no words came out. He rushed from room to room, his footsteps frantic, opening doors to find emptiness. His perfect plan with Carla had turned into a nightmare. He hadn't expected me to call his bluff. "You can't do this," he shouted. "Oh, I can," I said calmly, standing up. "Because it was never yours." Internal conflict. That night, when I finally left, I expected to feel triumphant. But the truth was more complicated. As I drove away, my car packed with essentials, my heart ached. I wasn't just leaving a cheating husband. I was leaving the dream I had once believed in. Every item I had taken was a piece of me. But love, trust, loyalty, those were things I couldn't pack in a box. They had been shattered, left behind in the ruins of our marriage. Part of me wondered if I had been blind all along. Had he ever really loved me? Or had I simply been a convenient foundation for him to build his illusions on? The unexpected twist. 2 weeks later, Carla called me. Her voice was shaky. "Listen," she said, "I didn't know he was married when we started. And now, he's trying to move into my apartment because, well, he says his house is under renovation." I laughed, the sound sharp and bitter. Of course. He hadn't told her the truth. He hadn't mentioned that I had stripped him of everything. "You should run," I told her quietly. "Because if he could do this to me, he'll do it to you." There was silence on the other end. Then a soft, "Thank you." I never heard from her again. Conclusion. Months later, I was sitting in my new apartment, my furniture arranged neatly, the walls warm and inviting. It wasn't the house I had built with him, but it was mine, and it was peaceful. Sometimes, late at night, I still thought about the look on his face when he realized what I had done. The panic, the disbelief, the sudden realization that he had nothing. And though part of me still mourned the woman I had been, the woman who believed in him, I also felt something else. Freedom. Because when he told me to take my belongings, he thought he was discarding me. In truth, he set me free. And the best part? He was left with nothing but his lies.